Jamie Mitchell, tell us how you're feeling because you are now a world champion.
I feel awesome. I feel incredible. I told you guys that I was going to come out here and get the belt, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do. She said she was going to take me to deep waters and drown me. She took me to deep waters, and I swam like an Olympian. So I feel great.
Jamie, we know your story. We know how hard you worked. Jimmy Cooper's your trainer as well. Tell us what credit he deserves.
I can't hear you. Say it again.
Tell us what credit your trainer deserves, Jimmy Cooper.
Oh, my head coach, Dewey Cooper, and my strength and conditioning coach, David Haynes, they're incredible. They're phenomenal. They're one of the best in Vegas, and I'm so happy to be working with them. They push you to your max, past your max, 6 days a week, twice a day, and we work like dogs every day, and it showed.
How's this going to change your life?
Oh, this changes my life incredible. Like I said, a belt doesn't make me, but it just shows you guys who I am. You know what I mean? I want to give a big shout out to my manager, Cohen, you know, and I thank you to Eddie Hearns for allowing me to put on my skills on this show. Thank you guys, and I thank you to all the fans, and I hope I gain some more followers.
Shannon, let's come to you because we saw your reaction in the ring. We know how you feel about it, but just sum it up for us.
I thought I won the fight. I landed the much heavier shots. When she had me on the ropes, she was throwing loads of shots, but they weren't landing. I was catching them on the arms, on the gloves. I don't see how I lost that fight, but I have to pay respect for her. She's now world champion. So congratulations to you. And trust me when I say that belt ain't going to be on her way so long, so I've got a rematch, and I'm going to get it back.
Tell us how you feel about that rematch, Jamie.
Well, obviously Shannon's word can't be held accountable. She said she was going to keep the belt. Obviously she didn't. She's saying that I didn't land any shots, but look at her face. I think I did great tonight, and I don't really appreciate her taking my credibility away like that. And I'm a dog, and I definitely give her a rematch just to show everybody again. I'm a dog, and I'll get the belt next time. I got it right now. It's sitting on my lap.
Shannon, just tell us about how difficult the last 24 hours, the last week has been for you.
Not the week, just the last 48 hours. Obviously, I was on weight. Everything was perfect, but I'm a woman, and these things happen. I can't prevent being a woman. It's one of those things. So it's been a rough 48 hours, as you can imagine. On Thursday night, I was running around Liverpool town for 3 hours in a sweatsuit, trying to get some weight off, and nothing will come off. So there's no excuses. She's world champion, but not for long.
Ladies, I think I speak on behalf of everyone. We look forward to the rematch. Shannon, commiserations, but Jamie, congratulations, the new world.
Shannon Courtenay, now 7-2 with 3 KOs on Friday, October the 8th, 2021, lost her WBA 118-pound bantamweight championship, weighing in at 120 and a half pounds when the weight's supposed to be 118. She said it was because of her period. Now, me as a man, I'm not going to sit here and go to Mother Nature in the ways of the woman's body. But in this case, there's some things that have to be talked about. So we're going to address these things and also what is next for possibly Jamie Mitchell and Shannon Courtenay, because apparently it's seeming as though there's a rematch clause. Now, my concern is I frankly don't think that Shannon Courtenay should be at 118 pounds anyway, and it feels to me that she moved to 118 pounds, skipping the 122-pound division to pretty much, let's talk about it, to try to bully smaller fighters. And in this case here, let me read a tweet here from current WBO women's champion at 130 pounds, Michaela Mayer. She's got several tweets here. She is fighting Maiva Hamadouchi on, I forgot the exact date, but it's a huge fight in women's boxing. It's unification, WBO and IBF. So here's what she had to say. Another champ loses a belt on the scale. So she was on weight the day before, but then wakes up 2.5 over because of her period. 2.5, question mark, exclamation point, question mark, doesn't happen. Also, if you're struggling to make weight before the weigh-ins, you don't have time to put on face makeup because you're sweating till the last minute. When Brotnicka was given an hour to lose the 0.9 pounds, she came back to the scale 15 minutes early, not even flustered or sweating, then misses again. I've definitely had some close weight cuts where I had to work to get those last few ounces off, but I'd be hustling the last minute. Come on now. So basically, it seems as though, she doesn't believe in the period or menstrual excuse. I am not going to go there. But what I will say is this: Shannon Courtenay has a very polarizing, to say the least, reputation. In boxing, not reputation, the way fans, in the UK feel her. She had some very controversial, frankly, bigoted tweets in the past. And we're in the generation where cancel culture, even if you tweet something or put something out when you're a kid, or younger, it can come back and haunt you 10, 15 years later. So I'm not saying this, those tweets and everything are that old, but what I'm saying is these days, when you're young, you have to be careful that things don't come bite you back, in the future. And we all know TstreeT has done some controversial videos, probably some tweets, Twitter posts, whatever. But now I'm wondering, what's Shannon Courtenay's longevity in boxing now? Now another 2, 3 years, because what happens if she loses another fight? Where does she really go? So she lost, and I'm sorry, I should have gave this girl, her props earlier at the very beginning of the video. I'm tripping. Jamie Mitchell, 7-0-2 with 4 KOs, is now the new WBA champion. In my personal opinion, she clearly lost the fight. It was pointed out to one of my friends on social media, also big time women's boxing coverer L Dub, that she fought on the Clarissa Shields card in Flint, and I don't even remember it, even though I watched and purchased the card, I believe, on Fight.tv. She's promoted by Lou DiBella, and she's managed by, I believe his name is Brian Cohen, who has a very good stable of female boxers, which includes, who we're going to talk about later on in the video, Ebony Bridges, and also Kylie Reese, who has a big fight coming up as well for, I believe it's a unified championship under the Matchroom banner. So if there was a rematch between Mitchell and Shannon Courtenay, believe it or not, I'm going to go with Mitchell again. She's just overall, from what we've seen, the better boxer. Now, I'm not saying Shannon Courtenay can't win, but she looked real slow and sluggish in there. For example, let's go look at this before I bring my colleague Big J in. You see Shannon Courtenay, she's 28 years old, babyface assassin, 5'5". You see where her last loss was against Rachel Ball in August, just a little over a year, 14 months ago, August of 2020. That fight was at 126 pounds, in which she also, if I'm correct, I believe, she missed weight for that fight, weighing at 126 3/4. But then she skipped the entire 122-pound division and has now fought 3 fights at 118 pounds. Me personally, I don't think she should be at 118 pounds. But we'll see. Big J, your thoughts on the fight?
Well, first and foremost, her excuse for missing weight, as far as I'm concerned, and to use her own words against her, doesn't hold water. She's a professional fighter. Adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other female fighters out there that deal with those problems, and they all make weight.
Mm-hmm.
Ebony Bridges, to her credit, with all that long hair and those 2 implants of hers, which will probably weigh about 3 pounds in total, she can make 118 no problem at all. So what's Shannon's friggin' excuse?
Yeah.
So, she had that fight lost before she even got on the scales. It was a very sluggish and slow performance. She can use all the excuses that she wants. The fact is that she was totally unprofessional about the entire thing. I think once she got off the scale, she drunk like I had a drink or something. Like, you got 2 pounds to lose. You ain't got no time to drink. Go lose your 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. So she lost it for herself. She doesn't deserve a bloody rematch. It'll be a miracle if she does get a rematch. And if she does, Jamie Mitchell will just belt her again. So Shannon Courtenay is on a very slippery slope and on a bit of a decline because, I don't see how, if she gets the rematch, how she's going to win it, and or even if she's even going to. She can make weight. She's proved it before. So, I was never big on Shannon Courtenay in the first place, but it's totally unprofessional. She can come up with all the excuses that she wants. Fact of the matter is, you lost the fight. You lost the fight before you even got in the ring. So her performance in the ring is irrelevant. She was overweight anyway, so it didn't matter. Even if she won, it wouldn't have mattered. So,
well, I believe.
Yeah. she's shooting herself in the foot.
I believe, Shannon Courtenay's marketability and her rise, her short rise in boxing under Matchroom and the Zone and Sky was basically because, she was very good on the microphone, very outspoken individual until past tweets came to resurface, and now that marketability that she had turned into, she comes across as smug, arrogant, and now, if you look, at how she's viewed, or view how she, or research how she's viewed in the social media, age right now, she's not a very well liked fighter, and you're seeing that a lot of fans, are wondering, basically, like, can she get, that back? Because let's say, for example, she comes back, fights Jamie Mitchell again, she loses. Then what? Now, this is not men's boxing. Women's boxing, unfortunately, hasn't got there yet, where a fighter like Shannon Courtenay can take 3 fights in less than 2 years. 3 losses in less than 2 years, and, like, really, really build herself up. And also, she's 28 years old. Granted, women do fight to be 40, 42, especially, in this day and age, but and still are able to get, televised fights. But I don't know, I do have concerns.
Well, the only way that she
Like,
can
if
do
she
is
can
become the
rebuild.
complete. Well, the only way that she can do is become the complete heel and actually want people to pay money to see her get her head kicked in.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. I mean, Mundine did that for 20 years. So, she really needs to piss people off to do that. I mean, everyone's just turning their nose up at her. I mean, she really needs to, become the bad guy or the bad girl, and just have everyone just want to pay their hard-earned money to see her just get destroyed. So,
Yeah, well,
but I think she's already too far gone for that. So,
so knowing
as
Eddie
you said,
Hearn,
women's.
I haven't got a chance to see any interviews yet, but knowing Eddie Hearn, and then the fact that Shannon Courtenay mentioned it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a rematch clause where, they have to, fight again. And Eddie Hearn is known for doing that with his champions. But, to move along, since we don't want to be doing a 30-minute video on no Shannon Courtenay, like, how does Ebony Bridges factor in to this, especially since Ebony Bridges pretty much got a gift decision, in my opinion, against Amelia's Gangloff in her last fight. And you were mentioning earlier, before we started shooting our video, that maybe Shannon Courtenay should fight her, or
Yeah,
if
well,
her and Bridges,
in,
should have the
in a
rematch.
rematch. Beg your pardon?
What do you think is the proper path, or what do you think the path should be for Shannon? Should Shannon fight Bridges, or should Shannon go after, Gangloff to see, try to, build some momentum there?
Well, considering how much of a fan base Bridges has got in England, Eddie would probably be wise to convince Mitchell to fight Bridges and
Mhm.
make that a big fight. The rematch with Courtenay probably wouldn't carry as much weight as it would if it was for the title again, because let's face it, more people like Ebony and no one really likes Shannon.
Yeah.
But considering that Brian Cohan is both Shannon and Jamie's manager, that's a fight that they can easily put together in about 3 seconds
Yeah, you
flat.
mean Bridges
And they'd have it in England.
yeah, you mean Bridges and Mitchell's manager.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And they would have it in England. They would be mad to have it in the States, because it wouldn't sell as well as it would in England. They'd have it have it an undercard on one of Eddie's fights.
Yeah.
But
I think that
that
makes
would be
sense.
the way to go for Shannon. I think she needs to fight the Gangloff girl that Ebony just beat, and not just beat her, knock her out. Go, well, I done one better than Ebony. Get that rivalry going that way. That's what I'll be doing with it. Or fight what's the other girl's name? Ellie Scott or whatever her name is.
Ellie Scottney, but she's not there yet. She's still basically a prospect. They're building her up.
Yeah, that's true. Because you've also got Shannon Cole in the mix, Shanika Johnson. There's all these there's about 5 or 6 girls that we know of that are all in that mix somewhere.
Yeah.
My personal, because I believe sorry?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I believe Shannon O'Connell's still the #1 contender at bantamweight 118, even though the WBA they dissolved that gold belt she won when she beat Shanika.
Yeah,
Is that
Shannon.
true? All those
Well,
gold,
right
those gold.
now, yeah, basically with the way the WBA is moving, then yeah, she should be the mandatory.
Well, she's having a fight on the October 25th against a Taylor Robinson, so
Hmm.
that's just a stay busy fight. Taylor Robinson's like 3 fights in, but this is her like 4th fight, so Shannon should dispose of her pretty easy. Yeah, but I mean, if Shannon against Jamie Mitchell, hasn't got what Shannon's got, what about almost 30 fights? Jamie hasn't even got 10, even though Shannon is older. Shannon shouldn't have too many problems with a Jamie Mitchell. It'll be a good fight, but I see Shannon getting over her. Shanika Johnson, 50-50 maybe. You'd have to give the advantage to Shanika because she's younger, more experienced. So
And those
yeah,
are
but I don't
Australia
see.
fighters, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Shanika
Yeah,
Johnson and
those are
Shannon
Aussie girls.
O'Connell.
Yeah, they only fought on the undercard to the Monday and Zarafa fight in the fight of the night, without a doubt. But with Aussies, they don't get they won't, unless they got the proper team management, they won't get a look in. So I don't see that happening,
Yeah, well,
unfortunately.
well, me personally, I would like to see Ebony Bridges and Jamie Mitchell and then Shannon Courtenay and Mealy's Gangloff in a type of tournament. If they're going to keep everything in the matchroom, Brian Cohen, stable of fighters, which promoters like to do. But if there is a rematch between Shannon Courtney, excuse me, the A side now, Jamie Mitchell and Shannon Courtney, I just got Jamie Mitchell beating her again, you know,
Oh, for sure.
and then the winner of that should go on to fight Ebony Bridges, because let's face it, Ebony Bridges is the one that's going to bring in the money. See, from my understanding, the plan was for um Shannon Courtney to win the belt, have a few, like a couple, build up fights, and then her and Bridges were to fight again. And now both of them pretty much, well, Bridges didn't get derailed, even though I think she lost to Gangloff. But Courtney definitely got derailed because she lost to Jamie Mitchell. So, does the fight now still hold any weight?
The rematch between Courtney and Bridges, only if the winner gets a title shot. The only way it'd be
Yeah.
the only way it would hold weight. That would be the only way it would hold weight. But a smart thing to do would have all 4 of them on the same card.
That's what I'm
Mitchell
saying. I think
fights
that's the way to
Bridges.
go.
Courtney fights the French girl, Geldof, and but they've got to get Shannon O'Connell into the mix, because honestly, she'd belt a whole lot of those girls. She'd belt a lot of them. So, yeah, but that's a bit unfortunate. She can't get a look in, but I mean, Eddie will sort something out. He's probably already got a plan in place anyway. I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does.
it's not going to happen until next year anyway, because as I mentioned to you before, Ebony's off doing a reality SAS show.
Yeah,
right
explain
now.
what that is to these fans.
Okay, it's SAS. So that is a special. It's run by a bunch of ex-British guys. It's called SAS Australia. What it is a bunch of ex-British SAS blokes, which are your equivalent to Marines, Navy SEALs. Like, these are elite. These are the best of the best. These guys are 10, 15 years out of the service. They're all retired. They've been doing these shows for years. It's a reality show where they get, what do you call them?
Celebrities?
Ex-sports, celebrities, sporting stars, Instagram influencers. They even got Chappelle Corby on there at one thing. You know who Chappelle Corby is?
Nope.
Did 10 years in Bali for the drug smuggling.
Okay.
Pot, marijuana and the boogie board. You never heard of that? That was like world news. Anyway, doesn't matter. They got her on there. So Ebony's on it, and Mixer Rapper's on it as well. And Barry Hall is also on it. He's the bloke that fought Gallon a couple of years ago, former AFL star. And what they do is that they put them through a basic SAS boot camp where they do all these, highly skilled scenarios and stuff, and train them like they would SAS soldiers. Of course, it's dumbed down really, because none of them would survive a day in the real SAS training. I can speak from experience. I know guys who were in the SAS. These guys wouldn't survive a day. So, but
yeah, good on her to make some extra money. While she's outside of boxing, and letting her hand heal. Hopefully, it doesn't aggravate anything. But good on her.
Yeah,
So
that was my concern.
Yeah, so no real timetable on when Ebony's going to be back, but to close out the video on my end, I think that's perfect, for all 4 fighters, and it should be really the next card. Put Shannon Courtenay again against Mealy's Gangloff. If she wins, she can say, "Look, I cleanly beat this girl." And Ebony Bridges couldn't do it, and I'll beat her again. And then put Jamie Mitchell in against Ebony Bridges, and see how they
Exactly.
do. But I really believe there's going to be a rematch clause, or there is a rematch clause, and we may get Courtenay versus Mitchell versus Courtenay too. Your closing thoughts?
Well, I think that's basically we've wrapped that up. I mean, Shannon really sunk herself, but if the rematch clause saves her, then she's got to dig herself out of that hole. Because if she loses, what's Eddie going to do with her then?
Yeah.
So she really needs to just get back on track, get under that 118, which he's proven. How many times has she weighed in at 118 now? 3?
Yeah, 3.
2.
Well, no, 2. Ebony Bridges, 2.
Well, again,
Shannon Courtenay, 2.
2. Yeah, so she can do it. She's just got to, get under the 118, get into it. But I'm with you. I think Jamie Mitchell will beat her again, and probably worse this time.
Yeah.
So, but she looked very sluggish and very slow in that fight. So
yeah, hey,
maybe
she was on the rag. So that's what they say. It's just what she said. So, I know, from experience, women can get a little, I'm gonna leave that alone now.
Well, don't just leave that out. We'll get killed if we mention something, so we'll just leave that out.
I'm done.
Yeah, adapt it, as the female corporal said to the girls at Kapuka when I was at the army. Adapt and overcome, girls. It's not really
come on. I'm sure other women have done it before too, and I'm sure have dealt
plenty
with
of women.
So it is what it is.
It is what it is. But is it really an excuse?
All right.
Women have babies, for God's sake. They're miracle workers.
For real.
That can slow them down. Exactly.
All right. Take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Make Big J. Old Make Big J. Symbols put. TstreeT Controversy and Big J with 5u360.com. Please subscribe.